let's get to the matter at hand while we here. While we here. So, and I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard the Brady interview when he got the
No,
stumbling the other day when they asked him like why did she do a fall and he got the stumbling and tripping all over himself the other day.
no, I ain't shit.
Yeah, that was it was bad. And he got the cussing and everything, bro. I'm like,
Really?
what? Yeah, like dog,
Yeah.
like how we go from we asking you a question about Shedeur sliding to you cussing out folks like, huh?
Hey, he going through some Will Smith stuff right now.
Nah, you know, he didn't want to speak on he didn't want to speak on the status quo.
No, that's what
He
I'm
didn't want
saying.
he didn't want to speak again. I'll play it for you real quick. I want you to hear the stumbling. I want you to hear it.
What happened, Tom? Elephant in the room. Shedeur Sanders. What happened, Tom? Why did he go so late in the draft?
And I it's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or
Skip Bayless says otherwise.
No, well, everyone's got that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want. I actually texted Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it.
All right, so tell me this. Tell me this. Did he
Mhm.
answer the question? The question was why did he slide?
No, he didn't answer the question.
And you know, everybody say Tom Brady's a smooth criminal, right? He know how he a
Hmm.
master manipulator, right?
He played quarterback for almost 20 years.
Well, they say he's go talk to like Drew Brees them before the game and play with their kids, and you
Hmm.
know, he was he they was like if it wasn't for him in New England, it would not stay together because he couldn't keep
No,
guys together. You
everybody.
saw what happened after he left New England; it fell apart, right?
They did. That's a fact.
So
And
we
he
ain't
got
gonna
one.
take we not finna take away from Tom Brady's greatness and all that kind of
Mm-mm.
stuff. But when Tom Brady was asked a direct question, why did he slide? You a quarterback, you know how to evaluate quarterbacks, all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You said on this thing they said he wasn't even in the building when the draft occurred. He was
Mm-hmm.
he did. So I know how hey, you know how it is, Harold. When we on the
Yeah.
show sometimes when we finna start talking about some stuff, you don't want to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of what you do. You exit the building, right?
Hey. Pew.
So I think Tom Brady didn't want to be a part of the buck breaking of Shedeur. So he was like, you know what? I'm not going to be around for this. And now since he's has ownership, he's part of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
He can't speak out against the status quo of the group because he's trying to be in that group.
That ain't it about. First of all, I'm about to put my shoes on with the buck. There ain't no breaking. You dig what I'm saying? We're talking about
Yeah.
politics. It's called politics. He knew what it was coming down the line, and he didn't want to be in the room for it. And everybody else know what it was. It's a politic play. It's
Yeah.
obvious.
Did you hear about what Shedeur did? And so let's get back to Shedeur.
Hmm.
Just the debacle and the slide in the draft and
Hmm.
all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
and I was hot about that.
I
The
mean,
Browns were supposed to pick them first. And once I found out when the Browns picked Mason first, and
hmm
Mason still getting 40 M's, if you'd have picked Shedeur would got like 43, 44, something like that.
oh yeah, but I mean, like I said, whoever it was made, and that's what happened. The thing is, what do we do now? Is it gonna still be some
Well, let me get
what do
to
you
it.
call it, out of the ordinary obstacles, or is he gonna have an opportunity to produce and
And see,
compete?
I don't think he's gonna have an opportunity to produce. And cause that, all right, prime situation for Shador. And I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because I didn't want to see them boys doing the same thing over and over again with Travis and Shador. Like we saw that show
Uh-huh.
for 2 years, but they could have got Travis and they could have got Shador, the Browns.
Hmm.
It'd have been the hottest show in the NFL at least for a year.
Oh, yeah.
If it worked, it would have been for multiple years. But if it didn't work, at least for the first 5 games, they
They'd
would
have
have been
been
out.
on. They'd have been televised every game.
Exactly. Cleveland would have
All
never got that
17.
much
Yep.
pause since LeBron been there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But okay, so you take Shedeur, and when Shedeur slides, and you take him and you get him for a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset. I was saying he should have went to the Rocks League, the
Okay.
United Football League, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, did you hear about how much money Shedeur made since January to now?
No.
They say Shedeur Sanders made $24 million.
Okay. So
So
he's
think
straight.
about it. These kids, the highest draft pick, making $10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, or 4 years, 46. That's 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
10. So, or close to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur made 24 in 4 months.
Yeah, I could believe it.
Like this
Uh,
is not
mhm.
this is outside money.
Yeah.
So think
Well,
about what happened if you got drafted on top of that. Now you're talking about $100 million dude,
all day long.
like really fast. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think pocket watching is part of this
Mm-hmm.
process that nobody wants. Because now you're talking about Prime and Shedeur and Bucky doing this thing on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
Shiloh. You
Mm-hmm.
talking about $100 million family real fast.
No, look, more than that. More than that.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing that I was saying a while ago is the fact that things, if at the very least it was politicking and everybody um kind of getting everything back in order. Things was getting out of hand if you're looking from a different perspective. The portal, go back to what I said about the NCAA. They did not see the portal being used like this, especially not in this short amount of time. That was spearheaded by Dion. These endorsements, the NIL kicked up because of the Dion effect, because he had to be able to play to get some players to Jackson. That was a first time type situation. These people are trying to get things in order. This young man already got what 10, almost 10 last. He got 20. He got 21 in the 4 months. These people trying to get a hold on the game is slipping. The power is slipping away from what they can see. We think it was just the draft day, so on and so forth. But no, Dion, the Sanders family has put football, college football, and other on his ears. What used to go 4 years ago ain't going no more. You got people like Clemson. Where's Clemson now? They stood on the top saying what we ain't gonna do, and they're having a bend. Now you got Iowa States and Minnesota's in the play and Kansas. These weren't perennial type programs. That's the Dion effect. And so they said, well, I think what happened is we're gonna reel you in. If you want to stay humble, okay, we in charge. Put that if the young man gets an opportunity on that field, cool. Like you said, or he go over to the XFL, not the XFL, the Fox League, and get and put action no different than Flutie and Moon did had to go up to Canada. He in a good spot. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we have to look. People are trying to figure this thing out. Social media has changed the game. All the Travis Hunter, social, all the media marketing and stuff. They wasn't ready for this, man. They wasn't ready for this. And he just made as much in the last 2 years. He'll make more in the next 18 months than Cam Ward the whole contract.
All right. Now, will he make that kind of money because okay, you see what Cam did.
Mm-hmm.
Cam went there. Warren Moon came out, gave Cam his jersey, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They brought the jersey, blew the dust off of it. Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. All right, this you, right?
Yeah.
But Shedeur, they telling Shedeur, Like he don't hold up the number 2 jersey. They telling Shedeur he got to rock this number 12.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, a number is a number, but once you already created a brand with chains on it with the number 2 on it,
That's
kind
what
of
I'm
like the same
saying.
thing when McLean, when he came to Colorado, he had the 7. He wanted the 7.
Mm-hmm.
They changed his number to 1. Okay, 1
Mm-hmm.
is that number, but
Yeah.
he wanted the number 7.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when you don't branded yourself and like they had T-shirts, Protect 2, all that kind of stuff. Now it's 12. So
Yeah.
that's a slight change, but you talking about they done spent thousands of dollars on marketing too.
Mm-hmm.
Now we gotta, and I don't love this 12. Yeah, this is my daddy number backwards.
Look, this. I mean, you can spin it any way. I just watched a thing on the Breakfast Club. It's a different subject, but kind of in the same lane. Coco Jones, she came out, was on the Breakfast Club, and she was doing an interview with Charlamagne, and Charlamagne was doesn't feel like Def Jam is behind her, and because they didn't send her music over until right before she walked in the door, so they didn't get that opportunity to review the music, her new album, right? And it turned into it didn't go crazy, but it got some traction behind the story. Okay, you can look at it as, okay, why is Charlamagne putting her on the spot? Why is he jamming up Jeff Jam, so on and so forth? What I argue is that the promo off of the slight is more than what the marketing budget was for her actual rollout. Her name is now the algorithm. I'm saying the same thing with this situation. It's about how you spin it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, okay, y'all bought them them 2 jerseys become what you call collector's items, and then now 12s we do that thing. But my name is in there. You're gonna have problem in the first 5 games. If we 1-4, it's gonna be hard to leave Shedeur on that bench.
Now, that's true. Now, but this is diabolical. Let's not make it seem like this is not owners.
Yeah,
trying to make their narrative be what they want it to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's politics.
So
it's politics. Yeah.
So we saw this last year.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Caitlyn came into the league and she was making stuff shake?
Yeah.
And her fans got behind her. Yeah. And they pushed. You know, the league had a whole bunch of old school like people on the committee that played in the league that remember the league the way they saw the league.
Yeah.
And now Caitlin Clark coming here being Steph Curry. And you got to be able to play defense like this, and you got to be able to do that, and you got to be a complete player. Not that, even though she was complete in certain levels, like as far as her offensive game, her defensive game, she don't really got the skill sets to be a great defender. But just because you're not 6'4" and can jump and all this kind of stuff, that don't mean you can't change the game because you can shoot from outside the thing.
It already happened. Yeah, we saw that.
And now you stretch the defense out. So now your bigs got a lot of space down low. So if you can pass like she can, you can get your bigs the ball with a lot of free, easy buckets because the defense got to stretch so much to stop you.
No
all right, but we saw it last year how a lot of people pushed back on her and they dropped the ball with their Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to drop the ball with Shedeur? Are they going to drop the ball?
They could, and I put like this to answer the question even about The Rock in his organization. Let the NFL push him out the league. Let them push him out. If there's an agenda, let's just say hypothetically an agenda to let whoever know who's boss. Let them push him out the league, and then he can go over there and do his thing. You see what I'm saying?
Tell me this.
Go ahead.
Now I get what you said. So now if they push him out, now y'all didn't want him. So don't have no beef with me because I'm gonna use him and let him be great over here.
Exactly.
Because y'all didn't want him over there.
Then let him go to Canada to do the same thing, and guess what? That money gonna keep on piling because the story is gonna be what is it? And you know what I'm saying? Now they back. Now Colorado's back in the news cycle. You know, they stay at the top of the news cycle. Shedeur stays on top of the news cycle. And now we get to see what's really what. You know, but you have to allow them to run that play before you got to counter. He can't be the aggressor. He has to be a counterpuncher in this. And if he gets the opportunity, take the best of it on the field in the NFL, and go be great, be legendary, as he said.
So when they had the same opportunity, like you saying, push him out, like how NFL pushed Kaepernick out, they had an opportunity to get Kaepernick. Kaepernick wanted I think $20 million a year, some junk like that.
Ain't no telling. I forgot.
So what kind of price point is realistic for Shedeur to try to get if he's getting less than $2 million now from the Browns, from the NFL? What's a realistic price point when we just seen he made $24 million off the field?
As far as with The Rock?
Yeah, if he was to go to the United Football League.
Well, the thing with The Rock, he'd have to do a sweetheart deal, like maybe $1 million a year, and then some ownership or something along the lines of a piece. He might even get a piece of the league type situation. That's happened before, and then and just go from there. Because I think like Rocket Ismail had a piece of the team that he played for, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think that's the Toronto Argonauts or something like that. That's the team that added Shedeur to their radar or whatever. So the same team that drafted Rocket, they trying to get Shedeur.
Yeah.
But these brands right here, a lot of these brands are owned by the owners of this league. So Shedeur's already making 24 off the field.
Look,
and I would say they got at least match or double what the NFL is giving him. Because
this is the thing, though. This is the thing. You already see what they have a Middle East organization that's coming in trying to put pressure and get their own sports leagues going up. They've done it with golf. They're talking about it with basketball with LeBron. And now think about this: what if The Rock puts the infrastructure into place, and then he has a offshore investor come through, and they put, and now Shedeur is the face of that league. Like I said, let the NFL do it to themselves.
Ooh, Abu Dhabi. Hey, boy, look. If The Rock, and see, I don't say just Shedeur. I think Shiloh and Bucky are just as important. Shiloh and Bucky, they are just as important. And like the running back, Ollie Gordon, he went late. I think I don't know if it was a Cowboy. He went late. Maybe it was to Miami. Maybe I don't know, somewhere. But like a player like that, I don't know about his injury stuff, but he was doing good until you got that DUI. And Rock said something. He's big on second chances, right? Because he was that player that didn't get in. And he wanted to play, and he didn't get his shot, right? So a player like Ollie Gordon, I feel like would have been a steal for them. A player like what's somebody? I mean, and I'm gonna say this, but just listen to what I'm saying. Like Janty. Sometimes players like Janty get overlooked. Like the wide receiver. It's a wide receiver that came out of. Man, he was the top wide receiver in the nation. 100. He didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
To me, The Rock should try to sign that guy right now and bring him into camp right now before the end of the season.
See, but he got to play politics too. The Rock.
I'm saying if y'all didn't draft him, no, you didn't want to
play out. I'm saying like that might be a thing. Okay, that might be a thing in 6 weeks. Well, I don't know what the season is.
Their season gonna be over with by then.
You said what?
Their season will be over with by then.
Well, it's still a politics thing. It's like a gentleman gesture. Let's have our run, and then come back behind him maybe 3 weeks later and get him
But
situated.
but see with that, this is the only thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL got first dibs. And so
Yeah.
you gotta get everybody leftovers. And even with
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur, if Shedeur sit on the bench for a whole year, some
Mm-hmm.
people that was Shedeur fans are gonna say Shedeur ain't good because the NFL he couldn't make it in the NFL.
I mean, but if they, the thing about it is, this is the thing that'll help Shedeur. It'll be the other whoever the starter is play. Whoever the people that play, the quarterbacks that get in through the season, they're going. The last thing that they're gonna look at is fans' mind is you got this monster in the back in your quarterback room who's been able to produce under pressure the whole time he was his whole collegiate career.
All
That's
right.
why we ain't playing him.
All right, now you going back to fighting fair again. Last time I checked, 3 referees just went to jail for helping the Kansas City Chiefs win.
I'm understanding that. I'm understanding that.
So if
I'm,
the NFL make the call to make sure, if the NFL make the call, say, hey, we're gonna make sure Joe Flacco win these first 3 games.
they could. It's not. It's just not. They can make it a lot easier for them to win the game. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. So
perfect conditions. I put it underneath that.
yeah,
How about
so
the
I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like they won't do whatever they gotta do to change the narrative to make
Yeah.
it seem like you
We'll
crazy
know.
and
We'll
they not
know.
crazy.
We'll know when they have sub 500 teams the first 7 games on their schedule. What the deal is?
Well, I think
You
the schedule
understand?
already done. I
Oh,
think the
it's
schedule's
out. It
already
is.
out.
What is it?
Oh, I'll look
What?
that up real quick. They play the Ravens,
Okay.
Chicago, the Bengals, Ravens again. God dang. Bengals, Steelers, Bills, Miami, Green Bay, Minnesota, Tennessee, San Francisco. God damn, how many games? Hold on, that can't be right.
Hey, well, they gonna need all.
Yeah, that's
What is
right.
this?
That's right.
When they line on their line, they gonna need all them quarterbacks. They
Yeah,
gonna need what's
they,
out. They gonna
they got Detroit, they got the Raiders, they got
Ooh,
New England, the Jets, and then they end up with the Steelers again.
they got to play.
So week 11 might be the week where we see Shedeur, because that'll be Shedeur versus Cam
Mm-hmm.
Ward.
Mm-hmm.
So they got 4 teams on here they had high draft picks.
Look,
If you can throw Miami in here, that's fine.
the Browns. It might be good that Shedeur is gonna be on that bench because they gonna. How long is Flacco gonna be able to hold that type of punishment?
I don't
What,
know,
three,
but
4 games? He 40 years old, bro.
yeah, but that other dude Pickett, I think he'll better hold up. I mean,
Okay,
he was a
hopefully.
starter. He took the Steelers to and he played
Oh,
in the
that's the one that.
division for year. You saying
Mhm.
The Rock and his counterparts, they need to let the NFL just drag this out until
Mhm.
Shedeur fire burns out, and they kind of say, I mean, because he might lead the Cleveland Browns and then get signed by another team.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, let them play. I'm not gonna let the fire burn out because he's in the NFL and ain't played a snap or played a down. His fire gonna keep going, right? For
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next 2-3 years. And that's just, that's kind of just that's how that's just gonna be. And so now if he goes somewhere else, they're gonna look at what they play and what's his, where he's forecasted for him to play. As far as like what's the timeline for him to play wherever he goes in the NFL. So they're gonna have to just if they really want to drag this out, it makes it easier for the transition, and it gives everything ready for the conversations to be had with the people, the group that's from overseas, the offshore investors, and then now you plug him in as the face. It'll be exactly what your version of the Rocks League. It'll be
So
the
you
same
saying
exact thing.
what year do you think he'll be playing for
Yeah,
the United Football League?
I could say 2, 3.
Are you talking about like 2027?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
Yeah.
so long. No, his fire gonna burn
No,
out by then, dog.
no, that's not true. That's not true.
If you're not starting,
Mm-mm.
you're not playing. People ain't seeing you.
This is
A
the
lot of people right
thing.
now say, "Man, we told you he
The
was sorry."
thing. No, just think about this. Because what's gonna happen is you got some dogs. Them first 7 games you ran off, right? Unless the Browns got an all-pro line that I don't know.
They do. They do. They got three.
Okay. I
They
don't
got
like I
three
said.
guys. That's Pro Bowl guys. 3 guys.
If you got somebody that got happy feet, and you got and that pressure get on them, and if you refuse to put that man in the game, matter of fact, Shedeur in the game, matter of fact, his legend grows even bigger. What is it? Why won't they let him play? That's what you want. Why won't they let him play? Why won't they let him play? This doesn't make any sense. He can't get no job. Wait a minute. Like, this is the same. We saw this dude get busy. He can't get no opportunity. Then next thing you know, he over there, let the games begin. That's, I mean,
So you saying
to lie down.
2031, he gonna be in the Rock League. That league might not even make it that long.
Mm-mm. He only go. How long is this contract?
4 years.
He can get cut any day. He can get
Why,
cut in the
why would
last
they
3
cut?
years.
Why would they cut a 4th rounder that's making more money in jersey sales than this contract?
Asking that question, why? That's just what they'll do. If you want to stay out and everybody in an easier transition, this is how you let them play. Let them in. We're not gonna play you. We're gonna shelf you like they do our artists. We'll sign you so we can shelf you. Let that play out and let him go independent and see what happens.
I mean,
Hey,
that's a long way. But now, the only thing that I could say that could do this, what you trying to say, if Shadeur's in the league for these 4 years and he's not playing and he's just chilling, and
and
Coach Prime,
God forbid he get a garbage moments and he throw some touchdowns in there, and they still won't play him. Oh boy.
well, like I say, I mean, all that is they can control that because now I know who I can put in the game that Shedeur got chemistry with and who not to put in the game when it's showtime, so they won't have the same kind of chemistry. You know,
You did, that's true too. But you also know that every once in a while, somebody goes, my mama in the crowd. I'm about to catch this ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody go break ranks, and that's all you need every once in a while.
now what you saying? What you saying? If it plays out where they draw it out for years, the only way it'll save them if they do a Sanders deal. What I mean by that is if they bring in Coach Prime from Colorado, Bucky come in with his camera, and if Shiloh's still playing by the
That
end,
could happen.
And Coach Prime can call on all these Buffalo players
that could happen.
that played for him in the last 4 or 5 years that ain't getting a good shot in the league, and he can call it. He can bring all them boys back.
Look, to be honest with you, what's
Colorado for the last 5 years?
how many teams is in that league with the Rock?
I think it's
10?
right now.
It's about 8. That's perfect. You got so much talent walking around the street, free agents. You got some James Harrisons walking around the street right now. You know what I'm saying? You got some boys.
Yeah, see now, and
Coach
Prime gonna know them all. He gonna know them all. So
yeah,
if they do a Sanders deal,
and
Coach Prime come down there and they get a team, like they owning the team, like it's kind of like what Jerry Jones doing in Dallas. Coach Prime come down there, he own the team, but he he could just be the owner and they hire another coach because now he going to no coaches by then. Because now Coach Prime can affect the league more by not being at practice every day and just owning the team.
I mean what was Dennis Erickson? They used to be at Seattle. That's why he had a that's why he had a post had a finger on the pulse of the talent because he had been recruiting all these kids since they was in high school. So he knew all of them. Yeah, Pete Carroll. That's what Carroll. He had a finger on the post. The same thing with was Jimmy? What's the one that used to be at Miami that played that coach that
Jimmy Johnson.
Is it Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah.
When he was doing this stuff at Miami, that's why you remember he had let go of the whole team almost. Pro Bowlers and stuff. Because he knew he had all the Miami boys coming in.
Yeah. And the boys he played against that gave him a problem. He could go get them.
He went and got him. He knew what Leon let. He let somebody sit on his tape. Him and what's the name? The Larry Allen. Somebody sat on that tape. So hey, they wasn't playing fair back then. That was funny.
So what I'm saying is right here. He sit on the bench, because the advertisers ain't gonna keep staying on you forever if you're not playing.
No, but it's not gonna. The thing about it is, for your scenario to work, it's not gonna be the whole contract. They're gonna be blatant with the disrespect and not wanting him to play. I'm just throw that out there. Then you build off of that story. He don't have to wait the contract out. It can be so egregious, the disrespect and the lack of opportunity and just wild stuff. You know how when they get on that, when they want to be on that, they can be on that. And he just like, you know what? I'm just gonna step away. He can do that. He don't have, you know what I'm saying? And he can, and then next thing you know, he over there on the other side of the pond getting busy.
So do you think in business mind right now, mind, do you think if he was to leave within this first, like, do 1 year in the league, but next year over there with the Rock show next year, and he get ownership in the team, all that kind of stuff, the Sanders get to buy the team in Dallas, the Argonauts or whatever, Arlington team.
Yeah.
Would that be a better long-term, life-term deal than to play for the Cleveland Browns?
It all depends, man. What has to be, and the finances have to be intact. The advertisers, the stadiums, everything has to be ironclad. It's ironclad as far as the contracts lined up. All that have TV has to be locked in. If there's it could be. If not,
but look, let's be honest now. Shedeur moves the needle.
Okay.
When Shedeur was at Jackson, I remember I was in Ohio watching the game, and the guy was like, "Who is this playing?" And they was like, "Is that a high school?" And I was like, "No, that's Jackson State. Coach Deion Sanders coached that team." So I'm listening to some cats in Ohio watching Jackson State. They didn't even know that school existed, right?
Yeah.
Then we watching when they got to Colorado, how they had all the record numbers, attendance. It was up to like 10 million sometimes people watching the game, right? The thing that rocked them need the most is eyes on their product.
Yeah.
And if Shedeur is the face of that league, now Shedeur is actually, they're gonna promote, they're gonna want Shedeur to have the cameras and stuff around him when Shedeur do little things. So now with the brands that they have, with the brands that Shedeur already have, with the brands that Coach Prime already have, if they bring all this together for the XFL, I mean not the XFL, the United Football League, all these brands plus Shedeur and Coach Prime brands, plus how Coach Prime bring in these other stars and stuff, like how I was explaining to these guys the other day. Shedeur has 2.3 million followers. Drinker got 3.4.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany Reynolds has 4.5. Kevin Gates have 11 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if these kind of people, I ain't gonna necessarily say Kevin Gates and them, but other people like how Shedeur's in this picture with my man right here, Boss Man D-Lo.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Boss Man D-Lo. I didn't know Boss Man D-Lo was this short like this, wearing the number
He
2
ain't
jersey.
that short. They standing on stairs, man. He ain't that short.
Man,
Nah, that ain't that.
man, Boss Man D-Lo throwing up the rolling dog. And
No. He on them stadium stairs. You can tell. But go ahead. I hear you.
but this all grows the brand right here. All this stuff grows the brand. So to me, if I'm The Rock, and if I'm his counterparts right here, we got to make this happen right now. Like, and I think the female, she might be the one with the. And she got some guns too, bro. She got some guns. She might be the one that pull it off. Like, I can see why her and Rock got married. She almost look like this female version of him.
That's his ex-wife, man.
Yeah, I can see why they got married. Cause they can make some kids that be a clone of them.
Yeah, maybe.
But at the end of the day, they got to get this deal done. Rock, put on your best business suit, get a good proposal up, and it don't necessarily got to be about Shedeur for real. Because this is one thing I learned about Shedeur. Shedeur worried about his whole team. That's why he brought the Maybach for Jordan Seaton. You know, that's why he did all the stuff and the sit downs and stuff with Buckingham and the other guys and the interviews and stuff. And that's why he made sure Travis got so many touches because he wanted Travis to win the high. That's why he stayed another year for his dad. So his dad could get this big contract deal. Shedeur is all about family winning. So if they can come up with an infrastructure where their music is gonna get played in these games, because I think they got 4 Texas teams. So the people in Texas, if Shedeur work with a lot of these artists in Texas, they can play their music in these stadiums because this is what the kids are listening to.
Look that I'm sure money get behind The Rock. They got to time it just right. The way that I'm talking about it is, and it could be, it don't have to be for 3 years, it could be 2, it could be a year and a half. The thing is though, you always have to leave it where situation where Shedeur can come back to the NFL. So that those bridges aren't burned so he can come back, because that's a part of the marketing. You see, because that's how why Rocket Ismail was able to. He kept those bridges, going. He kept them bridges open when he came back. Bro, it was just like, okay.
See, now I don't know if y'all really understand. Like, okay, going back to the NFL for what?
This was just that's a part of the lure. For instance, Joker, like in the Joker, the NBA MVP, he plays over in his country, right? But like he's the man over there, but he comes over here and get a chip too. A part of his lure is the fact that he can go back and forth. You see what I'm saying? And he don't even, when you look at him, he like playing over there. Have you seen one of his games over in his country? They got fireworks inside the stadium, all type of stuff. But he still got the working relationship with that league in the NBA. And that's the same thing that Shedeur wants to, because you want to be able to build, like, why is he playing over there? How can we get him back over here? That whole back and forth thing, that's what you got to play against now.
Now, I see what you're saying. That does hold some weight, but I'm going to say this right here. Just to be funky. Last time I checked, Magic Johnson won an NFL team, but he can't get one.
No, he do. He got the Commanders.
Oh, yeah, did do that deal, didn't he? So they ended up doing that deal. Okay, well that's that. But Usher, he won a team. Nelly won a team. And did St. Louis, did they stay in St. Louis? Or they St. Louis don't have a team last time I checked.
No, I think they're gone.
Yeah. So St. Louis team gone. So Nelly wanted to be an owner. Can Nelly reach out to Michael Jordan? Like, look, man, I know I reached out to you with this
But
the Charlotte thing.
this is the thing about it is this is the politicking, and that's why we got to be careful with this. A lot of strings tied into these folks' money. We think these are independent, free frontier people. They not. They got people they got to answer to too. And so that's the thing that I'm like. That's what I'm trying to convey is the NFL has to. We letting you go on our terms, and you go out there, show yourself, you can come back. Let them have that. But that's what allows you to build up your brand. One of the things that built up Warren Moon's brand was he never cut them ties. He was winning all type of championships, breaking all type of records up in Canada for years. Him and Doug Flutie. But
what you're saying is it's not about Shedeur playing for the NFL or playing for the United Football League. It's about Shedeur building his brand and using both leagues to grow his brand.
Very much so. Like for instance, Doug Flutie, when he came back from Canada, they had a quarterback that was in front of him, but they didn't like Doug Flutie because he was short. And they had another dude that was prototype that he was cool, but he wasn't Doug Flutie. See, you gotta have that thing where it's like, damn, why aren't they giving Doug a shot? We know he the best quarterback. Shedeur has to every time he touches that field, he putting up numbers or putting up touchdowns. And then now, for what reason, they still don't want to make him the starter. The same thing they did with Doug. You think what I'm saying? But Doug was a little longer than the two, so But now when he goes over to the United Football League, he can run it up, and it's like, why didn't we play him? You see what I'm saying? He doing these numbers. You see what I'm saying? Then it's like now everybody can kind of just, all right, here we go. Let's get you back. And now he have a career like Warren Moon. And then we always wondering what if he would if Warren would have started off in the NFL. What if Reggie White numbers?
I'm glad you did it.
What if Reggie White? What if Herschel Walker? What if Kelly?
I'm glad you said that. But okay, right now, how much money does Warren Moon make off the NFL right now?
I know he's a Hall of Famer.
They don't get no check to be in the Hall of Fame.
No, I'm just saying, like he can do the autograph signing and all that type of stuff. He probably don't make too much off of it outside of some days and stuff like that.
All right, so he had his moments in the sun, and he might get some little perks here and there, but if Shedeur go over here with the Rock and they come up with a good deal, they come up with a Sanders deal, and Coach Prime and his boys, they end up buying a team. Now they become the Jerry Joneses. How much money Jerry Jones making off the Cowboys every year?
He got at least be pulling about $500 million.
So Shedeur's in a chance where he can be the Jerry Jones.
He could, but you got to play politics.
Or he can be a Warren Moon. Which position would you want to be, a Jerry Jones or a Warren Moon?
Well, this is the thing. What I'm saying though, see, Trump did this before. He owned the USFL. He was one of the owners. And guess what? He didn't play the politics, and they cut him loose. He won the suit against the NFL, and they gave him like a check for like 12. That's like, it was crazy. So I'm saying is you got to finesse, even though emotions are high, people feel slighted, but you got to play that game because they can cut. The Shield still has the power to cut all your money off. You mess with them, Nike, you mess with them, Puma, whatever else, you can't do business with us. So you got to play the politics, and it has to be couched a certain way. That's all I'm saying. It ain't just we gonna start this league and da. Well, they got relationships with ESPN, Disney, whoever else, YouTube, MySpace, Facebook, Snapchat. These people want to do business with the NFL. So it would be best that you do it in a such a way that you can do it, and we and very few feathers are ruffled. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
That's
now
all I'm
I
saying.
got you. So I guess this is how I'm looking at this right here, right? You know how you have you remember the turkey leg hut, right? Down there in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And when you went there, it was filled up wall to wall, right?
It was packed. Yep.
All right. They're out of business now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was because the ownership didn't handle their business. It wasn't because the product wasn't good.
No, people was in there.
Yeah, it was because the ownership, they had to buy out or whatever, how they want to do stuff, and it fell apart, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is with the Shedeur and Coach Prime, because Coach Prime don't do all the drinking and all that kind of stuff and the womanizer stuff and all that. He stay out of a lot of the trouble, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And from what I've seen with The Rock, like The Rock and his ex-wife, they started to lead together. So he know how to navigate in these rooms and not get tangled up with emotions and still know how to make money with people that y'all found out I can't do you no more, but I can still do business with you.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like if Shedeur goes in that direction, The Rock and Coach Prime and all them, they do good business. And a lot of people, the NFL, they do a lot of exclusive rights.
Yeah.
Like nobody else can make a video game but Madden because the NFL signed their exclusive rights over. So there's a lot of people that want some of that NFL action that can't get it. But the UFL could be their old. Now we got an end now. Now they can make a game because now they can make it off the back of Shedeur and all them and Dion them, and they can have Dion on the sideline. Like Madden them, they don't have the coaches on the sideline.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like my father said, you don't kill a water buffalo. You don't injure a water buffalo, you kill it. Unless you're able to wipe the NFL out, period, you got to play that game of politics because they will shut you down. They did it with the indoor football. Used to be, when the last time you really seen it? Unless you play the game.
Now that's
behind it. It's been a while.
That's true. Okay.
There was an XFL. There was the same stuff with the Trump, and you saw, we know how that went. You see what I'm saying? And The Rock is working his play up. He building his league. He getting his contract, but it can be shut down tomorrow if you don't play it right.
Now that's true. It can be shut down tomorrow if you don't play it right. But with the NFL saying Shedeur is not a good product for them, they don't like how he's too arrogant, all this kind of stuff. To me, it'd be a good deal for Rock to say, well, look, let me take this problem off y'all hands. Y'all don't want to keep it.
It could be, but it's storyline, though. It's storyline. It's storyline. They can say that, but, it was really just to kind of get the pecking order back in place. Because they got an
asset to the NFL.
Yeah, very much so. That's why if they had any question, if I was outside looking in, had the strings to pull, the draft itself was a, what do they call it? Was a test. Let's see how much we got. We got 10 million people on the third day watching this. Even if I was in the camp of, let them go. Now I got to reassess that situation. Wait a minute. We carried this much attention for 3 days? Whoa. We've had all the Hall of Famers that come through here.
So, tell me this right here. Tell me this right here.
Uh-huh.
Is the NFL really suited, like the entertainment level? Is it really geared towards minorities, melanated people?
Yeah. This is the thing that people miss.
Well, hold on. You said yeah. How so?
Yes, but that's what because I don't like debating shit. I'm about to put my shoes on and run up out of here. So what I'm going to say is to you is the thing. It ain't about race at this point. It's a part of it, but this is the caveat that nobody want to meet. They changed the business of football. The Sanders family. They made
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
and the
NFL
NFL is saying they don't want that kind of business.
And they don't. That's what I'm trying to
Okay, so if they don't,
but if
they don't,
you still got to play politics. You still have to play the politics. You still have to play the politics.
I got you. And that's why I said at the beginning, how long does he have to sit in the league before he can move?
I just said it, about a year and a half of doing it. He just need a couple of garbage minutes where he make positive, like a big throw, a touchdown that gets them within scoring distance, and they pull him and they put Flacco or whoever else in there, whatever. And so people can see that he got the talent. Then you let the storyline build off. Okay, this is not working for us right now. You go out there and make your wares. You spend about 4 or 5 years in that league with overseas, let's just say hypothetically, or with the Rock if they have expanded or not. We can revisit this again. That's how that goes. That's how powerful they are. Everybody knows.
And I understand how powerful, and I get it. But like what I'm saying is, with the Rock, they got minority owners. Okay. So they might be willing to do some of the stuff that Coach Prime want to do because like music and stuff with us. Music with different cultures, music plays a different part. You see it with the Caribbean folks and with the Spanish folks, music is a big part of our culture.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, when you talk about going to Catholic churches and stuff, their music and their church ain't the same. So what I'm saying is, with all these entertainers and stuff we got with this United Football League, they could open up a different kind of door for football plus entertainment that Caucasians really don't like. So it's like, there's 2 different kinds of football.
I ain't gonna say that, because then you can't be no Georgia fan if you feel like that. You couldn't have went to Vada if that's what it's like. If we gonna keep it all focused,
no, that's not true. If that's your only option,
you can't look at the SEC like that way. You can't talk about Ole Miss. You can't talk about Mississippi State. You can't talk about Texas.
Can we have a conversation? Can we have a conversation?
We are having a conversation.
I know you said SEC, so I know all the teams. You gotta go down to all the teams. Like, if they're giving you something that a lot of people don't like, and then this over here is giving you something that some people do like, you're not really going to steal the same fan base. The NFL is still going to have their fan base.
I'm referring to you saying the melanin comment. Is it built for that? The whole league is built off of melanin talent. And then the feeder into the NFL, who's the first stop? The SEC. And if we already know about their historical views on certain things, which one we talking about?
Okay, so who was the first biggest feeder? The SEC or the HBCUs?
Well, we talking about 2 different leagues. You talking about the AFL?
No, because Walter Payton. And Walter Payton.
The timeout. What years are you talking about? Because remember, there was a merger. There was a merger, and one league tapped into the swag big time. They tapped into that, and then they made the merger, and they all brought it together. Now,
when they made that merger, a lot of them kids came from HBCUs. And then that's around about the same time because Florida A&M won the national championship, and they said, "Oh hell no, we can't do this. We got to start getting these kids from Florida A&M and Jackson State. We got to start."
Bear Bryant was the biggest one. Bear Bryant was the biggest. He took the Alabama out to SC, and they got whooped on. And so we can't leave that talent, our home talent, get out of here like that.
Exactly. So at some point they changed the game because they wanted the talent. But you can kind of tell, like right now, They want the talent, but they don't want the talent at the same time. So, okay, fine.
Okay.
Do Dylan Gabriel over there, and let's get Shedeur over here. Fine. If you don't want the Miros or Lamar Jacksons, okay, let them come over here.
They want what they can control. Because this is what I'm trying to tell you. There was a time when they villainized celebrations, right?
Chad Johnson also them changed the whole league around.
Boom. Okay. Once they figured out how they could monetize it, now they got a big camera in the end zone. And you can take group pictures.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is they trying to figure out how to keep control over their product. This is what they built. This is their stuff. You're just not gonna hand it over. And what they saw is the model that Dion and them took. They took over the whole game. We keep on. The football is secondary for me. When I look at what they were able to do with the very limited resources they had, talking when he left that meeting with Florida State and was able to get Travis, that'll get his sons to transfer and follow him, and make it happen. And went to Jackson of all places, and the poorest state in the union, and had the world on his ear. What? Had the audacity to win everywhere you went. In the second year, you had a winning record. Then you go do the impossible and take a 1-10 team and go 4 one year and then win 9 the next year, bowl. And then on that first year, you were in the bowl. You were in conversation for a bowl if you just had one more game or two. What? Yeah. Wait a minute. That portal and the NIL money skyrocketed. We got to put a hold on this before we don't know what it is, because now we got kids that we would normally be able to get to leave when they was a redshirt sophomore. That's like, I'm going to make more money staying in school. You just had that dude. Now, is this a race thing? The quarterback that went to was at Texas, that left $7 million on the table and got to get picked in the 7th round. This is a politic thing going on. We got to get a hold on this stuff, because we can't even dangle the money in their face that make these kids fall in line. They don't have to play this. They're not starving like they used to do. We got to figure out how we get the control back. Because right